Dear students, welcome to Java Programming Lab. Currently, we are at exercise 7 and it has two programs related to the concept exception handling in Java. And the objective of this exercise is handling exception that occurs at runtime. And the exception handling in Java is one of the powerful mechanism and it use it to handle the runtime errors so that normal flow of the application can be maintained. When these type of exception occurs at runtime, the application may be terminated in abnormal condition. So to overcome the situation, Java language provides that powerful mechanism to handle exception. And actually a problem occur here. Problem occur when we are running or executing an application or a program. When this problem occurs, that it means the runtime exception or a runtime error occurs, immediately based on the type of exception it generated, the control creates an object of that exception type and that exception has been thrown out of the try block, and based on the object type, the handler mechanism already designed as a catch block, and the catch block is like a method which takes an argument as a object of that exception. And the catch handler handles that exception, caught and handles. So that's why we call that as an exception handler. So this is the scenario of handling an exception during the execution or running an application. And in java.lang package, there is a throwable class, and that is the superclass to all the exceptions generated in Java programs. So this throwable superclass has two subclasses called exception and error. And all exceptions are the subclasses of this exception class. And there is a one special subclass called runtime exception. And here we have checked exception, unchecked exceptions. And we already covered all this. And check these two at compile time. Unchecked exceptions occurred at runtime. And these are the two list of programs given in this exercise 7 related to this exception handling. First one, write a Java program that describes exception handling mechanism. So we can handle this exception using keywords like try and catch. So use the try and catch blocks to generate an exception and as well as thrown that exception object generated, and catch handler can caught and handle. And coming to second program in this exercise, write a Java program illustrating multiple catch clauses. That it means our program or application may generate multiple exceptions. So to handle that multiple exceptions, we need to define multiple catch clauses based on the type of exception generated. So we need such type of catch handlers to handle such type of exceptions generated. So these are the two programs we're going to see in this video of this exercise 7. So this is the first one. So exercise 7A class, that is class name. So file name is this one. Inside of this main method, define a try block, and to inform the user that the try block entered, so give a statement welcome, and I have two variables and one expression. So A is initialized with 5, B is initialized with 0, and C has an expression like A divided by B. And the division result is stored in C, and that's why I'm displaying the division result. This is the behavior of this class. Okay, so this is the behavior of this try block. And we know that it generates an exception division by 0. This is an arithmetic exception type. So to handle that exception generated during the part of this code inside this try block, that exception automatically thrown by the control, right? Thrown out of this try block. So this thrown exception should be caught by exception handler as a catch block. So inside of this catch block, we need to set a set of code to handle that one. So this catch handler requires to maintain one parameter, that parameter of type object of that exception thrown by try block. So what type of exception thrown here? Arithmetic exception. That's why here we required an arithmetic exception object called A. So that's why we are simply displaying that this type of exception when occurred in our piece of code, then the control message displays to the user and user of that service of this program. So division with 0 is not possible. And we have a finally block to display logout. Safely we are coming out of our program execution. So not in an abnormal case, right? So this is the simple, very simple mechanism of handling exception. So go to the control prompt, command prompt. So coming to this file, class exercise 7, the same code we have taken here. So run this program at command prompt. So what we have to do is compile this one first. Java C exercise 7A dot Java. So compile and run this one, Java exercise 7A. So as it is, when it is entered the try block code, it displays welcome. When the A equal to 5, B equal to 0, C equal to A by B, then simply it generates an exception called arithmetic exception, and it was thrown out of the try block. Immediately the followed catch handler exception caught. What type of exception it caught? Arithmetic exception. What is the message for this? Division by 0. And we are displaying that message in catch handler is division with 0 is not possible. Then after this try and catch blocks, the finally block will execute. There we specified logout. Okay, understood? So complete this program and write this one into your observation. And go to second program, that it is this one, that illustrating multiple catch clauses. So here we have taken a scatter class to read the input from the keyboard, and based on that reading input values, we are performing the same, but here it is possibility of occurring two type of exceptions. The first one is arithmetic exception, and another may be generate like input mismatch exception. So coming to this exercise 7b, inside of this main method, try block, welcome statement, and scanner object definition, scanner object declaration. So scanner s equal to new scanner.system.in. We know this statement. And enter a value statement. Then we use this scanner object to read the integer value from the keyboard, and that value is loaded into a variable of type integer. The same way we are having enter a p value. So int p equal to scanner object dot next int. So that second read value from the keyboard loaded into p variable. And here I have an expression c equal to a by b. So again division display. But here two types of exceptions will generate. What is that? First, suppose I'm entering a value as 4 and b value as 2. Then the division is 2. There is no exception generated at all, right? Here, this point. Suppose again I'm entering 4, b value as 0. Second time, right? 4, 0. So it generates an arithmetic exception, right? It generates arithmetic exception, so that catch handler will handle that exception thrown by try block. Another case of input given like, for example, a value 4, but I'm giving second value as not integer and character. I'm giving character. Is it possible to perform here? That input is mismatch. We are expecting integer, but we are given character. The keyboard, we can just give the value, but it is not mismatched to the input. So that's why what type of exception it is? Input mismatch exception. So that generates. So to such a type of exception, we need a catch handler to handle this situation. So division with 0 is not possible with arithmetic exception. Input mismatch, we have taken handler like wrong input you have entered. Then after we finally block to log out the program. So here we need to check three types of programs here. So check here, first input, as I told you, both are without exception, with arithmetic exception, with input mismatch exception. So go to the execution. See here, the same code we have taken into this file, and the file name is exercise 7b. Okay. To catch blocks. This is catch block for input mismatch exception, and this is catch handler for arithmetic exception, and this one is finally block. And try block having two try statements, two scanner statements to read values, and one is expression, division by 0. So go to control command prompt here, Java C exercise 7b.java, compile it and run this one. As welcome, first it asking to enter a value. So I'm entering 4. So b value, as I told you in the program, that 2. So the division is 2 and log out. Again, I am running the same. Now I'm entering value 4 and b value as 0. So it is arithmetic exception, that generated arithmetic exception that caught by catch handler of type arithmetic exception. Division with 0 is not possible, terminated successfully without abnormal condition. Got it? Again, I'm running a different case. So now I'm entering value 4, but b value as character. So b value as suppose m. Now it is exception generated type called input mismatch. Input mismatch exception, and that exception was caught and given the control information as wrong input and terminated abnormal termination. Got it? So do these exercise problems and Write in your observations with outputs, with these three types of outputs also, right?